Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Payson. Welcome back to everyone who's already a subscriber to the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now with local MMA legend out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, former 247 professional champ, former UFC fighter, Khama the Death Star Worthy. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here, man.
Always great having you back on the show. I had the honor, maybe about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, of covering at the time what was known as your MMA retirement fight. You got a great win. We even did an interview. You were gracious to do an interview with me on MMA Fancast about your retirement plans. At the time, you said you were going to be doing boxing, which you have since done, pro boxing, but now you're back. You're just under a month away from April 20th, Brawl in the Burgh 21 for 247 Fighting Championships. Going to be hosted at Hollywood Casino at the Meadows, where you are making your triumphant return to MMA. Talk to me first about what brought you back to MMA after your retirement and going into boxing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, when I retired, I'm a pretty truthful person about the things I can accomplish and do, and my body just wasn't letting me do what I needed to. I mean, like, when I remember after I got out of the UFC, I took a trip back out to Vegas to do some training, and I went hiking, and then like I was basically crippled for like 2 days, and like my hip was just going bad, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And like my last three MMA fights, I could like barely sprawl. Like it hurt to do everything. It just hurt and hurt. And I was just pushing myself. And I was like, well, I mean, like there's only so much you can do with like 40% of your body operating. So I made the decision to retire. And then I did those boxing matches because I figured like I was going to get a hip replacement. And I'm like, oh, well, you get a hip replacement. That's kind of like it. It's not going to be doing much of anything. So I'm like, well, I can kind of box because I don't have to sprawl. I mean, the movement's going to be kind of compromised. And then I got the hip replacement and it kind of went. Actually, Mike Manna told me to do it. I was just going to stop because I know like you get a hip replacement, you're going to be out for a while. But Mike Manna, he's a local Pittsburgh boxer, and he told me he had the procedure, and he goes, it's not anywhere near as bad as it used to be. It's like, because instead of going through the glute, they go through the front. Mm-hmm. So it's 10 times, the recovery is 10 times faster. I mean, like, I was back to walking that day. Like, they made me walk in the hospital and stuff. So, and then like the doctor wanted me to chill a little bit and then get back to physical therapy. So I pushed physical therapy super, super hard. I mean, like, I'm 37. Most people that get this surgery are like in their 60s or 70s. So they don't really have the muscle mass or pain like tolerance to deal with the things. I mean, it just hurt as in not injury, it hurt as in I'm fatigued. So I'm like, all right, I'll just have to strengthen myself up. So, and then like I talked to my wife about it, and she was like, yeah, I mean, like, 'cause the reason I stopped was because I couldn't do it. So I want to stop because I want to stop, not stop because I didn't do it. Because there'd be a point in my life where I can't do it. And it's getting really close. I'm 37. It's getting to that point where like, oh, motherfucker, you can't do this shit anymore. Like, so I want to at least be able to do it now that I can do it.
Yeah, that is exciting. And I'm glad going into your hip replacement surgery that it ended up being a better recovery process than you thought it was going to be. About how long ago were you able to get back to, full-time training? You're training at the level that you need to be. Has it been months, 6 months? Has it been pretty short? Like how long ago did you realize you were going to be able to make your return?
So I didn't really stop training until I had I trained the day before I had my surgery. And then I trained 2 months, like a month and a half after. I started boxing I started striking again within a month after my surgery. Like not sparring, but striking again. And then I started sparring within like a month and a half, and I started getting kicked within like 2 months. I started wrestling within like 3 months and stuff. So I mean, I just took it really slow because the big thing was it wasn't once the hip was in, it was in. It was the muscle memory. So your muscles were just fatigued. It's like you had a cast on and stuff, and it's just really, really weird to get used to. So I just had to reteach my body how to do certain stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense because at that point the hip replacement is fine, but it's everything else around it that's got to learn
Yeah.
how to heal.
Yeah, like the hip flexors and then the knee and all that has to get together. And then like your other leg has to start it's no longer overcompensating. So now
Right.
it's like, oh, well, what the hell? So you have to learn, like learning how to walk again, explode again, do proper stuff like that was all part of the training process.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Um, so now you're matched up and you're back to 247. You're the former 247. You would have been lightweight champ. And then you went off to the UFC. What does it feel like to be coming back to 247? And then we'll talk about your opponent, Jimmy Sandlin.
It feels good. I'm kind of like, cause like when I retire, a lot of people are like, oh, well, you should have told us it was your last fight and stuff. I'm like, guess you don't really do that, but it feels good. I just like to compete. I'm just a competitor at heart, so it feels good to like get back to doing something that I enjoy doing and actually like kind of have a little bit more fun this time around.
It makes sense mentally that you're coming back because you want to enjoy it. And obviously, when your body's feeling better, it's a lot more enjoyable. What do you think of Jimmy? I actually just had him on the show a little bit ago. People can see his thoughts on it. He's coming off a win himself coming into this. What do you think of him? What made you say yes to him, or is it just a matter of getting a fight that could get you back in the cage?
Yeah, I mean, like he's a fun fighter. He's a college wrestler. He likes to punch people. He's done some bare knuckle fights. I mean, he's young. He's explosive. He's gonna bring the fight. So that's the type of fight. I didn't really want like a easy. Like a couple people were like, were like, oh, you should just get an easier fight. I'm like, I'm not doing this to be easy. I mean, of course, I'm always looking to win, and you don't want to jump off too deep or so, but um, I like to challenge myself a little bit. He's going to be young. He's going to be fast. He'll be explosive, and he likes to fight. He does everything. I say he's a college wrestler. He's a puncher. I'm like, all right, so that means he's not going to be a bitch, and I'm going to go in there and see what he got. But I mean, me personally, I'm like, when I decided I was going to come back, it was kind of like the Thor, the Marvel movie when Thor had to restart that freaking planet. I'm like, it's not easy to do that. So I don't want to. I'm not going to like do it for some fight that I know I'm going to like just run through the guy. I'm like, that's not going to be the type of energy that I need to like refuel. I need to feel danger. I need to feel excitement. I need to feel a real threat in order for me to actually put in work and do the things I have to do, miss time with my family, etc., beat the shit out of my body and stuff. So if I'm going to do that, I need to like feel there's a real cost behind it.
Yeah, that shows. I mean, that's the veteran in you, the fight veteran in you, realizing that there has to be a reason to be motivated. And all too often, it seems to be more of a boxing thing. I think in MMA, the training is so extensive, but there's been boxing champions that have lost, and it turns out afterwards that they didn't really take their opponent seriously. And then the training, you don't work quite as hard. Plus, there was a famous boxing champ that said that it's hard to run at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping on satin sheets or something. Like sometimes success can kind of lead to complacency. So you've got a great attitude. Let's talk because I know they're going to be in attendance at your fight. Let's talk about your ninjas, your little ninjas, as you call them. You always give them a shout out. You've been owning and running and operating and coaching at the academy, the MMA Academy Pittsburgh for a while now. How has that been going on the business side? How are your little ninjas doing?
It's doing good, man. The kids are doing kids, driving me crazy. They're getting a rough. They're getting a rough. Got a lot of new kids. So they're getting a little bit of a rough turn because they never see me. Boxing fight camp isn't like MMA fight camp. It's a little bit different, a little bit more stressful. So they're getting a little bit rough. But the kids are doing good. All the students are doing good. The amateur fight team, everyone's doing their thing and stuff. We're fighting and doing our stuff. So it's a good look. I just want to keep like I want to try to keep coaching and stuff, keep holding the students accountable. We got a couple of new guys, some up and coming fighters, a couple of new stuff. So I got a lot of people I'm gonna just like as I get ready for my own fight, I'm gonna make sure the other fighters know that I still want to still keep coaching because I think coaching's one of the most important things that help me get better and stuff. So I'm still coaching. I'm also like I'm like finding the proper training partners because there's not a lot of lightweights around here. So I'm going to Ohio this weekend. I'm supposed to try to get some work with Cody Law. I'm supposed to work with Ethan Goss. I'm making sure getting around with a lot of people on this card, a lot of different stuff, like getting some working and stuff, just to like make it more, like I said, make it more realistic. Because I don't do it just like I don't like I don't want to just do it just to be local. I mean, if I'm going to do this and put this much effort, it's to get back to the top and get back to where I was. So I know the type of stuff I have to put in. So I'm just charging up, and this is just getting started.
Yeah, no, that's what's great about hearing you. I didn't know whether or not this was like a one time fight for you. It sounds like now that you're putting the work in, you want to be taking it seriously, be back kind of for the future. You know, you're looking forward to what your MMA career can hold for you still.
Yeah, I want to put. I want to put in. I told my wife maybe 40 would be the cutoff. And it all depends on where I want to put in and see how far I can push it back at this older age. Because again, my body feels better than it did. Like when I made it to UFC, my body was already starting to fail on me, and I knew it. Like soon after my first UFC fight, they did the X-ray, and the guy was like, "Oh, your knee isn't bad. You have a degenerate hip." And you're like, oh, you should probably stop fighting. Like, yeah, eat a dick. Fuck you. I just kept
Yeah.
going. I mean, I have major sponsors, all kind of people did all kind of stuff. And it just got to the point like when I went to the PI, they said my hip, I only had, I think it was like 8% external rotation for my left hip.
Yeah.
And they were like, so how do you throw kicks? I'm like, well, I have to alter my entire body and stuff. So like, yeah, it just, and then it got to a point that like, I couldn't do butterfly guard. I couldn't really hold anyone in my guard. I couldn't do any of that because it all hurt because my hip was killing me. So now it's completely different with a whole new hip. It's like, oh shit. Like I was just doing something with my coach the other day and I was like, oh, I couldn't do this for years, so I stopped doing it. So that's the biggest thing now is like really like slowing things down, like reprogramming my movements and my everything for my defense, my strikes, and which submissions I like to do. And all of that has to get reprogrammed because I'm like, I can now do things I couldn't do before. So it makes it fun again.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I appreciate you sharing that with me. And it sounds like there's a bit of a relearning process because eventually your brain unlearns. If you can't kick, if you can't do butterfly guard, if you can't do certain things, your brain's not going to go back to that. So it's kind of cool that you have to kind of relearn the capabilities of what like a fully functioning, Khama the Deathstar Worthy can be. I like the fact that most of your career that I've seen you were not at your full strength, because if that's you not at your full strength, getting the upset, the UFC upset of the year when you fought your former training partner and buddy Devonte Smith, not to mention the finish of the night, that bonus, and all the things that came your way. The fact that you were doing it on a limited hip situation is kind of got to give you some mental motivation to know that maybe the next 3 years between now and 40, you could rattle off some wins and really see what your body can do. So the return of the Death Star should really be like, and they should do it in obviously because you're a Star Wars guy, they should do it in that font, that Star Wars font, the return of the
Yeah.
Death Star in that Star Wars font. But
There you go.
it really is exciting. I always appreciate you being on the show. You've got a lot of people excited that you're back. We always say buy tickets from fighters. I know selling tickets is important. I'm sure a lot of your ninjas are getting tickets from you. They can buy tickets on 247fighting.com and give you credit when they do it. Plus, for your friends around the world and around the country from the UFC side of things, they can get the pay-per-view. The best thing to do is to download the 247 Live app because 247 Fighting Championships actually has its own app, which is fantastic. Download the app. You can order the pay-per-view through there, or you can go ahead and get the year subscription, which will give you every pay-per-view for the year. Plus, you can watch every 247 fight that Khama has ever had, or really anybody has ever had. It's the full bank. What prediction would you like to make for this fight, which is a month away now?
Finish.
Finish.
I don't know how, but I need to finish. I can't go to decision. Like I can't. Like if I'm gonna do this for real, I have to finish people, and it has to be devastating. Like I don't care if I do some crazy go plata, freaking goofy shit or whatever, or a buggy choke or
Oh, buddy.
whatever. But it has to be something. It has to be a finish. Like I'm not. I mean, a decision wouldn't really make me want to get up the next day. I'm like, unless maybe he's made of fucking bricks and I just keep punching him, it doesn't go anywhere. There's blood and snot and doo-doo everywhere and he's just fucking still coming. That could be the case, but I need to put on a really violent approach to the fight and make sure that it's still what I want it to be.
That makes perfect sense. Always an honor having you on. Before I let you go, talk whatever sponsors, whoever is important to you behind the scenes that's helping you and that you want to thank as you come into this fight.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone at my gym. I have a lot of new sponsors. I want to thank them all for joining up and see me kind of joke. But yeah, basically everyone just puts their energy off and good vibes, and also thanks to my haters too. Suck a dick.
Well,
Excuse
hey,
my friend.
it's always an honor having you on the show. You make regional MMA, UFC MMA, all MMA together. More exciting with the Death Star still out there. You're very colorful. You're a great coach. I guess it just jumped to my head. What's your thought on Craig Perry's most recent win? It got performance of the night from the Meat Bucks. Incredible. He's now won 3 in a row and had a really great win over a high level opponent. Obviously everybody knows now that, he started with a bad injury. He started with 3 losses. Now he has 3 big wins. So what's it been like? And of course, Eddie had a great fight for the lightweight strap and it didn't quite go his way, but obviously, so what are your thoughts on the competitive side, the MMA fighters from your team?
Oh, they're doing good. I just like to tell them like don't get satisfied with where you're at. Like fighting is like it's a marathon, and it's a marathon where people are like throwing logs out in front of you. You're tripping and falling and shit. So I'm like don't get satisfied like where you're at. Like I was happy to see that a different side of Craig. Because Craig's such a nice person. Me and my brother, we've been trying to corrupt him, bring him to the dark side. Because and then I always tell him like, dude, this sport. I tell all my students, you have to be okay hurting people. Matter of fact, you have to only want to hurt people because it's the pain business and business is booming. Like that's all that we do. So Craig always wants like he's always had it. I just think this fight he leveled up. He leveled up mentally, physically. It's easily. I think he's a world class, high level athlete. Man, he played high level um, um, hockey and stuff. Like him and Eddie, like and all the rest of the guys really on the fight team. They're all really. I have a lot of really good athletes. But like teaching them about the fight side is I'm like, yo, you gotta want to like yeah, you gotta be okay, like getting really Craig, I was joking with him. I'm like, Craig went to hell and came back in that fight because it was some dark places and stuff, but he was able to push it forward and really challenge himself and trust himself. Because I was screaming not to do that triangle shit. I was saying go for omoplata and get the fuck back up, but he got the triangle put on before I could scream for it. So he shut me up and he shows that he's been like putting in a lot of work and yeah, he's been doing his thing. Him and like I said, Eddie had a great performance. Minor mistakes. Even Paul had a great performance too. Messed his shoulder up. Didn't tell me till after the fight. But like everyone had great performances and stuff. And we just had some other guys just fighting stuff and so like it was really good. Colby and Chris and Tyler. So a lot of guys and like my little brother hopefully gets a fight. We have another guy that's coming up. He's going to be a pro fighter. He has to get a pro kickboxing match, so he start doing pro MMA. So we got a lot of people coming up, a lot of new guys coming in and stuff, and we got to try to get some guys doing the sport jiu-jitsu side. So we're staying super competitive and just keep moving forward.
Always exciting. I appreciate you sharing a lot about the academy because obviously that's a passion for you lifelong. Whenever MMA is finally finished for you, maybe 3-4 years from now, you get the opportunity to be a lifelong coach and really
No,
give
I'm
back.
gonna sell the gym and get into Formula One racing. Fuck that shit.
Wait, what's going on?
I'm gonna sell the gym in 3 years and get into Formula One racing.
Well, there you go. Listen,
I
listen.
tell people all the time, I'm gonna start this shit and do Formula One racing. That's my other dream job. I think that's like an amazing job I would love to do.
Well, there you
Maybe in
go.
another
Hey,
lifetime.
who knows? They're now doing
All
Formula
right.
One through Chicago. They did Formula One down through the strip at Vegas. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool what they're doing with Formula One. It
Yeah.
really is.
They're building this crazy track out in I think it's out in Abu Dhabi. It's like an insane track. Oh, it was like I just saw like the layout for and stuff. It's like insane and stuff. So yeah, so that I keep getting things pop up on my phone. There's gonna be one down in Florida. I think I'm gonna take my wife and go down and check it out because like I really think it's even more dangerous than fighting because it's like one
Oh
fuck up,
yeah.
you're like
Oh,
dead. You're on fire and
yes.
shit, you know. So
It
I think it's a
definitely
really cool
is.
job
It
to have.
definitely is. It's there's nothing like retiring from MMA and then going to probably one of the world's most dangerous sports. But
Yeah, yeah. This
you
make
live
my wife
dangerous.
really, really happy.
You live dangerous. Yeah, your wife's gonna love that.
Yeah.
Well, always great having you on. Thanks everybody for checking out MMA Fancast with Luke Basin and special guest, just an incredible legend in MMA, Khama, the Death Star Worthy. Thanks so much for being on the show. Get your tickets, get there live, April 20th, back-to-back events, Sprawl in the Burgh, the night before, April 19th. If you're going to come in for it, support everybody, support Deathstar. Do both nights back to back. Stay at the casino or one of the local hotels. Go back to back nights. It's going to be absolutely incredible. April 19th, April 20th. Thanks so much, Khama. Thanks for being on the show.
Nah problem, brother. Thanks for having me.
Got it, brother. All right, bye.